The W, the O, the R, the K. The W, the O, the R, the K. Look yourself in the face. Look yourself in the mirror. Ask yourself, are you giving 120% every day? Every play? Give me 120 or don't give me nothing at all. The guy you competing against, you haven't outworked him. You've not outworked the person next to you. You've not out-hustled them. You've not out-grind them. You've not outdone them. You're not locked in. Bring all your passion. Bring heart. Every single game, every single play. Put forth 120% or don't ask nobody to do nothing to you. The W, the O, the R, the K. The W, the O.
What's up? What's up? What's up? What's going on, everybody? Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope everybody's loving the market that they're in and just kind of kicking back and seeing what's going to happen today. Today is Fed Day. Today's a huge day. We're going to see kind of where the Fed stands on a lot of the stuff that's happening out here, from unemployment rates to tariffs to the market in general, and whether or not we're going to get 3 rate cuts this year, 4 rate cuts this year, 2 rate cuts this year. You know, we're going to kind of see what that press conference brings us, right? And that's that's really what's going on today, this afternoon. It's all about the Fed today. This morning, you'll see some trading up, you'll see some trading down, you'll see some trading, just all over the place until about 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Right around that time, you're gonna start to get the what the Fed's gonna do, which I think today the Fed is going to literally just keep interest rates where they are. They know that they're not going to do anything. If they do something, it's going to be an absolute shock. It's really about the press conference that's held after the Fed announces that they're really not going to do much. It's that press conference right there that we have to look at, and we have to got to let the markets digest what Powell says. Is he going to possibly create some cuts in June, or are we waiting for the Fed meeting after June to get that first rate cut that would give 3 in 2025? If he cuts in June, that's going to give 4, which the markets will absolutely love. So we really gotta pay attention to that press conference and how Powell's looking at things, because that's what's going to drive the markets this afternoon, right around 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. That's what's going to drive the markets, is the press conference. It's not so much what he does today as far as rate cuts, because there's really not going to be any. There's really just not going to be any rate cuts today. Everything's just going to stay pat and do what it does until June. But there's a lot going on in this economy right now that could affect whether or not we get rate cuts, whether or not we stay the course. There's mixed data out there right now on whether or not we should cut, whether or not we shouldn't cut. With the tariffs, you have a lot of companies that front loaded their supply into the United States to beat the tariffs. So there was a huge GDP beat this time because they front loaded that supply. What does that look like with the next GDP report? So there's a lot going on that this Fed has to digest and try to figure out where they're going and what they're going to do. I think we're going to get a rate cut in June. I'm probably in the minority here that I think that we're going to get a rate cut in June, just because I think that there's political pressure there. As much as you don't want to recognize that there's political pressure, I think there is some political pressure. for a rate cut in June. I think that some of the data coming up in the next month will kind of support a rate cut. The economy's strong right now. I think you'll figure that out. As far as the stock market's being strong, it can withstand what's going on right now. I think that inflation, as much as we may not see it on a day-to-day basis, the numbers kind of support inflation going down a little bit. So I just think and then you got the bond market, which is up and down all the time. You got countries dumping their debt, and then in the bond market, they just had a bond sale. Not that we talk about that a lot on here, but they just had a bond sale where the United States Treasury came in and they bought up a bunch of the 10-year bonds, which is never good because that basically expands their liabilities on their spreadsheet. But that's what happened. So a lot of stuff going on. And then we have this war between India and Pakistan. I don't want to call it a war, a little conflict over there, shooting down planes and stuff like that. So let's see where that heats up at. But a lot going on, a lot for the Fed to consider today, a lot for the Fed to look at today. But I'm a little bit more of going on a ledge here and saying that I think in June we're going to get a rate cut. I just think that there's too much pressure there for us not to, and the numbers kind of support it. And hopefully, if Powell comes out and just alludes to the fact that we may get a rate cut in June, you'll see these markets go absolutely nuts. And I think they need to. I'm pretty sure companies are knocking on the White House's door and the Fed's door, saying, "Hey, you're killing us right now. You're really hurting us right now. You're really hurting our investors. Got to do something." And I think they will. Elmo, good morning. How are you? My man Selmo, good morning. Happy hump day, brother. Happy hump day. The Junior, good morning, my brother. Good morning. How are you? Yeah, I'm a little bit on the minority here. A lot of people are saying nothing's going to happen in June, but I think we'll get a rate cut in June. Too much pressure. Pressure always is the leader of everything. Yeah. Hit that like button, y'all. That's right, Junior. Hit that like button. Hit that share button. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button as well, guys. Hit that bell notification too. Hit it. Let's go. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Scottish, good morning, my brother. How are you? I never buy on Fed Day until after the Fed, during the Fed's press conference or slightly after. I never buy on Fed Day because you just never know. You never know what's going to happen. So I'm not so much worried. I'm never worried about buying the bottom of the market. I'm more. You guys, we talked about this on here before. I'm more concerned with getting in at a good time in the market rather than just trying to time the absolute bottom or absolute top. But I never buy on Fed Day until the press conference. Yeah, New Hampshire is the first state to actually lock up a Bitcoin reserve. Everybody, is under the impression that the federal government has one. They really don't. I mean, it's going through Congress right now. It seems to be going to pass. But yeah, New Hampshire is the first state to actually vote on and lock up a cryptocurrency reserve. And it looks like they're going to buy like 4% of their reserve is going to be in Bitcoin. So it's coming. More and more states are going to get on top of this thing, and they're going to definitely be opening up Bitcoin strategic reserves. I mean, there's a lot of bills out there from a lot of different states for Bitcoin strategic reserves for their budget. And like I said, like this is all going to roll roll up to Bitcoin. It's all going to it's all going to make Bitcoin's price just go crazy. Definitely a rate cut. Yeah, I think in June, definitely a rate cut. There's a lot of pressure there. A lot of pressure there. Hoping for 50 basis points. Ooh, that's going to be a rough rate cut right there. If they cut rates by 50%, you'll see these markets go freaking absolutely crazy. I don't see a rate cut 50%. That's aggressive. That's really aggressive. 25 basis points. 25 basis points. It's kind of where I think they'll go in June. And then in July, you may see a pause, right? You get a 25, you may see a pause. Then you'll see another rate cut. You may see a pause. I think you're going to see a step in approach to rate cuts, but I definitely think that I'm of the belief that we're going to get 4 this year. Most of the other people are of the belief that they're going to get 3. I think we'll get 4. I think we'll get 4 rate cuts. Yeah, Pulse X. We're going to get into that, man, Selmo, because Pulse X and Hex are absolutely moving today. They are absolutely on fire today. I woke up this morning and I was looking at Hex. I was like, damn. All right. I see you, Richard Hart. I see you over there. I see you. See you trying to do something. Welcome back, baby. Get out there, start twerking. Let's get this blockchain moving. Let's get this thing, rolling. And, get out there and, get back in that club, baby. It's just twerking. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Let's get back out there. Let's get them twerking, man. Let's get into the market, though. Asian markets, they closed. They closed okay. Not too bad. What's interesting here is the European markets are absolutely tanking right now. And when we come over here, this is what I don't understand. I don't understand why the European markets are tanking, because reports from yesterday says the U.S. and the U.K. expected to sign a new trade agreement this week, right? This week. So, I'm not understanding why the European markets are tanking unless they believe that this trade agreement that's going to be signed is going to be detrimental to the EU, and not do their economy well. I don't understand that, but the EU markets are tanking based on this news right here. Just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But who am I? Who am I? Ken, what's going on, baby? UK also buying crypto with credit cards. I seen that they were going to. Did they actually do it, Ken? Did they actually do it? I see that they were talking about it. Did they actually do it? That's not good. That's not good. That means that the UK's going to be behind the 8 ball, brother. Behind the 8 ball. So yeah, what's up, Ken? Good morning, good early afternoon to you, my brother. But yeah, I don't know what's going on over there in the UK, man. But they are they're tanking out this morning, man. They are tanking out, man. Let's see. Trump says a lot, Scottish. I listen to Bassett because Trump says a lot, man. But boy, did they ever have to clean up? Did they ever have to clean up the whole China situation yesterday? Ooh, boy, that was rough. That was rough for them yesterday. But I think we're on the right path with China. I think we're on the right United States and moving in the right direction. We'll get to that in a second. Yeah, he said he does. Scottish, he did. He said he's adding some enormous news coming this week, but he also turned around and said, don't expect it to all be about tariffs either. It could be about something else. So he kind of left that cliffhanger out there, like you don't know what it is. I think it's another partnership, Scottish, with a company that's going to come in over and invest money into building plants in the United States. And you got to remember, like, some of that is smoke and mirrors, right? Because when you talk about actually building a plant, it's years before that comes online, right? And a lot of people are under the belief that these factories that are going to be built in the United States are going to be built like they used to be, where you had three shifts of all labor workers, all union labor workers, and that's just not the case anymore, Scottish. They're going to come over here. They're going to run them with machines, uh, for the most part, and the labor force is going to be minimal in a lot of these plants. But it's a good thing. But I think that's what he's going to announce. I don't think he's going to announce a whole bunch of tariff deals. He could, he could, but I think if he also said he had a bunch of tariff deals that he could announce right now if he wanted to. I think that's a bunch of bullshit, because if he had a bunch of tariff deals that he could have announced right now, he would have announced them. Oh, that went into effect on Monday, Ken? Ooh, boy, that's rough. That's rough. That's rough. They took that away. Um, that definitely not good. Um, China is hurting. China's hurting right now. They are. They are hurting right now. Like, because when you look at it, it's an economy where China is the biggest producer of goods, and the United States is the biggest consumer of goods. So that relationship needs to get worked out, right? And in order for both nations to be somewhat successful, right? But the United States needs to onshore some of that stuff as well. They need to onshore some of the medication. They need to onshore, some chip manufacturers too, because when you look at a lot of these chips, they're all being made in China or India, and a lot of them are about national defense, right? You have all these chips that are going into these F-115s and all of your military aircraft and things like that, and you don't have, they're being made outside of the United States, so that's a big national security risk, and that just shouldn't be. Pharmaceuticals, you go to war with somebody or something happens, next thing you know, you have a bunch of people that can't receive their pharmaceuticals because they're not made here in the United States. I'm a firm believer that these pharmaceutical companies should have plants in the United States where they produce enough pharmaceuticals for the United States. They have plants in the EU where they produce enough for the EU, so on and so forth, whatever country you're in, because when it comes to national security and people getting their medication and people actually being able to survive, you can't be relying on foreign trade to make sure that people stay alive with their medications. Just that's just my thought on the situation, and I think that's the smart way to do it. China is wobbly right now. They're a little wobbly. They are, and some of their people are starting to really start to question what's going on over there, which is a little bit different for China. Usually they shut them guys right down, and they've shut them down, but you start to get some little tiny rumblings of the people in China not really happy about what's going on, because it's affecting their check. Some of these plants are completely shut down. So the United States pre-market's not doing too bad. We're all in green, trading well, which is another reason why I just don't understand why the EU is all in red. You got the United States and all in green, and you have the Asian markets who close pretty well. It's an odd situation, very odd scenario you don't usually see happen. But look at oil prices; they're coming back up. This is good, because when oil prices are up a little bit, I know gas goes up and things like that, but this is good, actually good for the economy, right? It's good for the economy. It really is. But look what happened overnight with gold, right? Gold was absolutely on fire yesterday, and then all of a sudden it, kind of took a big pullback last night, and here's why. Right here's why. Just in U.S. Treasury, U.S. Treasury, Bassett, I keep saying his name wrong, Bassett, they're going to start trade talks with China over in I forget what country they're going to, but they're going to a country to start some trade talks and some preliminary trade talks. So this is, really what's setting the market on fire. But this is also what tanked the market yesterday, because if you remember a couple weeks ago, the United States came out. President Trump came out, and Bassett came out and said that they were actually talking to China already. And when everybody found out that they were lying, basically lying, that no trade talks have started, the market absolutely tanked out yesterday. So these trade talks are going to take place next week. They're going to get some preliminary trade talks. We're far, far away from a deal with China in the United States, but as long as they're talking, the markets will react positively to that. So as long as they can keep the conversation going, it's going to be good. 15%. That's a lot. That's a lot of product coming to the United States. 15%. Yeah, that's huge. So yeah, I mean they're hurting a little bit. But the United States consumer hasn't felt the pain yet, because the gross products are here right now, and a lot of these companies front loaded these products, like we said earlier. But if this goes on too much longer, and then products start to run out, you're going to see the American consumer really start to hurt as well. How is high oil prices good for the economy, for the United States? Because what happens when these oil prices go a little bit higher is it gives the oil companies a bigger I don't know, a bigger need, a bigger incentive, however you want to call it, to go out there and drill, right? To go out there and drill. It's no different than gold. When gold goes high, people are out there selling their gold for profits. It gives them a more of an incentive to go out there and drill and to produce oil. And the more stockpile of oil you have, then it will drive the price back down eventually. But you're stockpiling your oil, they're drilling, it's creating jobs. It's creating more jobs because they're drilling more. It's creating more product. It's creating, just a whole. And the job creation is not only in the oil fields, but it's in the parts for the rigs. It's in the small towns that they're drilling in. It's in their restaurants. It's in their economies. It's in the hotel fees. It's in all that. So the higher the gas prices, the higher the oil prices are, the more incentive it is for these guys to go out there and start drilling, which stimulates the economy, actually. Big Watch Dude, what's going on, dog? What's going on? Yeah, Switzerland. Okay, yeah, that's where it is. I couldn't remember where, Big Watch Dude. I knew they were going somewhere neutral for these talks. I couldn't remember where. Uh, uh, but yeah, Switzerland. Yeah, CME groups, they're gearing up to launch XRP futures. It's gonna be interesting. How fast the X. It's all about the spot ETFs, though, right? For XRP, it's all about the spot ETFs for them. That right now is what is going to send XRP to that next big price movement up. Everything else is just kind of like an addition to, but they've got to get to the spot. They got to get to the spot ETFs. Look at Big Watch getting that King's welcome up in here. Getting that King's welcome up in here. Yeah, we're here. We're here. Big Watch dude get that. King's welcome, baby. King's welcome. Junior says he's been missing Big Watch. Big Watch is always here. Sometimes he's just in the background, but he's always here. Always. And then he'll help me out every once in a while. He'll come in and be like, no, it's Switzerland. Because, sometimes I forget where things are, and Big Watch dude come in and bail me out. But yeah, so Big Watch is always here. Sometimes just in the background. Let's get into some of this crypto, what we got going on over here in this crypto market. Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index ticks back up to 53. On Monday, we were down to like 47. So we ticked back up to 53, which is great news. That's great news because that just means that money's flowing in. Altcoin season, 25 out of 100, baby. I expected this to kind of come down a little bit, and it's actually staying strong. Not only is it staying strong, it's actually building ground. 25 out of 100. We're definitely still in Bitcoin season. There's no doubt about that. But this number was in the teens for a long time. We busted up to 25, and we're holding 25, which is huge, huge. Yeah, as I was telling the Big Watch, you're here all the time, brother. You're here all the time. Just a matter of whether you come in the chat or whether you just laying in the cut, right? But the crypto market cap sitting at $3 trillion, guys. We're back to 3 trillion, which is a huge market cap for crypto right now. Remember, 3 trillion is so important because this is where we left off the last bull run. So I want you guys to think about that for a minute. As people start to get really bearish on crypto, we are at a market cap where we left off the last bull run. Think about that for a minute. So the last bull run, left at 3 trillion, and here we are, we're sitting at 3 trillion, and people are out here talking about crypto's dead, right? Talking about crypto's dead. And yet we're at the high of where we were last bull run. Just think about that for 1 second, before everybody goes crazy. Do I think that we're going to be red when the Fed talks? If he comes out and says that, if Powell comes out and says in his press conference, remember, the interest rate is going to stay neutral, right? It's going to stay neutral. But if he comes out in his press conference and he says, you know what, we don't really see we don't see a need to reevaluate our strategy right now. We don't see a need to change anything that we're doing right now. You're going to see the markets go completely red. It's because that's going to give you 2 rate cuts this year. That's what's priced into the market, right? So if he comes out and he says that, you're going red. You're going completely red. People will sell off on that news. If he comes out and he says, you know what, based on this tariff situation, based on the data that we're getting in, based on the economy right now, and based on the resilience of the consumer right now, we think that we're going to go ahead and reevaluate our strategy and just make sure that we're on the right track. You'll see these markets take off. And I think that's what's going to happen. I think we're going to get a rate cut in June. I think nobody else is predicting that really, but I think we are. Yeah, Ken, 3 trillion, baby. 3 trillion is huge. Maxine Waters is always hating on crypto. Like, that's the problem with these. That's the problem with these politicians. When you have to wheel them into the building in their wheelchair, they don't really know a lot about crypto. You know what I mean? They don't really know a lot about crypto. So, Michael, yeah, I mean, when you look at it, like, it's all about what he says at that press conference, right? So, and it's hard to say, right? It's hard to say what he's going to say, but him and Trump have been going at each other for a couple months now. But I think what's going to end up happening is there's going to be a lot of political pressure to cut these rates. Housing market is getting hit right now, guys. Housing market is taking a big step backwards, right? And a lot of it is because of the interest rate, right? There's a ton of houses on the market, very, very few buyers out there. Florida being hit particularly hard, Texas being hit particularly hard. a lot of these places that were boom towns during the real estate boom, when everybody was out there buying, because basically interest rates were at 3%, which is basically free money. Anytime you can get an interest rate at 3%, all of these boom places are now bust. Really, they're bust. You guys know I love Florida, but one thing I do know is that there's more houses on the market in Florida right now than there has been since 2008. So that's an issue. She showed her ass yesterday. Yo, man, listen, she has no idea about crypto. She has no idea. And these are the people that you got to get out of there. These are the people that you look at and go, "What are you talking about?" You, you can put a bunch of clowns together, and what do you get? Big watch. When you put a bunch of clowns together, what do you get? You get a circus. And that's exactly what all these old people are proven to be up there in Congress right now, on the Hill, is a bunch of clowns when it comes to crypto. So every time they talk, you get a circus. You get a circus. So, he's not wrong. No, no, he's not wrong. And they just keep building. Yeah, they just keep building in Florida, and there's more houses on. Yeah, it's like that in all these boom towns, though, Junior. Like, really. And they got to cut rates. Nobody's buying right now. Even cars, like, nobody's buying right now. Like, you look at it, you throw the tariffs on top of you throw the tariffs on top of the high interest rates. It makes zero sense to buy a car right now. Oh yeah, Maxine Waters is Ken. She showed her ass. Oh yeah. I mean, she's showing. They're all showing how out of touch they are. Rocket is Maxine. Oh man, Maxine and Nancy Pelosi rocking the same boots. You ain't lying, man. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Yeah, she showed her butt, man. But here's the thing. Um, here's the thing that these politicians can tell you whatever they want to tell you, but at the end of the day, ISO 2022, that switch is going to get flipped in July, right? Uh, that switch going to get turned on in July, and then it's going to get phased in, right? The big switch is going to get turned on in November, when SWIFT has to literally go to cross-border settlement payments, and in November, when that switch gets flipped, that means every single bank that's doing cross-border transactions from country to country, they're going to have to get on board. So Congress, the people on the Hill can tell you whatever they want. They're just doing it for political show. This thing's going to get switched, whether they like it, whether they don't like it, because they voted on it, and that's what passed, and that's what's about to happen. Which is, I love it, Michael. So what happened yesterday? Why did Bitcoin get crushed yesterday? Right here. Look at the negative outflows of Bitcoin at 103 million yesterday. The negative outflows of these ETFs. Bitcoin ETF absolutely got hammered. The Ethereum ETF absolutely got hammered. They had huge negative outflows. Everybody was getting the hell out of the ETFs because everybody was moving to gold. Everybody was, when they found out that the United States lied to them, and China and the United States really weren't talking to each other, people were bailing. They were bailing out, and this is what created this negative outflow right here of the ETFs. You look at it, we haven't had this big of a negative outflow. I mean, we had a little blip right there, which wasn't bad, but we haven't had this big of a negative outflow since April 15th, right? But yeah, so this outflow was huge for the ETFs, which basically tanked Bitcoin yesterday. But you see, yesterday during the day, but you seen it bounce back last night. You seen it bounce back last night. It bounced back. So who's going to be the first person in crypto to be who's going to be the first person to be in crypto to be sent to Alcatraz? Oh, good. Well, I got a couple names for you. You can go with the Saitama Dev. You can go with the the Terrarium devs. You can go with the Pure Wallet devs. You can go with Cliff from Shinja. You can go with a lot of people. It'll be the first ones to get sent to Alcatraz. You can go with a lot of people, Yeah, Selmo, it's definitely starting to look like more and more like Project 2025 is a reality. It's definitely starting to look like that. Milton, yeah, you remember Milton? Yeah, Russ can go to Alcatraz. But yeah, Elmo's out. Where you going, Elmo? Where you going? But yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with they're not going to reopen Alcatraz. It's going to cost way too much money. Look at Bitcoin dominance though, 64.3%. Ethereum dominant 7.4%. I told you guys Bitcoin is going to get high 60s, 70s, and boom, we're going to take off in altcoin season. But look at how this is lining up. You gained another like 1.2% of Bitcoin dominance, and then look at altcoins are starting to the altcoin season starting to tick up. I'm telling you, high 60s, high 70s. High 60s, low 70s. Altcoin season is about to go absolutely ape shit. Look at Solana over here doing this thing, kicking everybody's butt. $2.9 billion in 24-hour trading volume. BSC coming in number 2. Look at BSC, overtaking Ethereum right now for that number 2 spot. Base doing pretty good. Base is doing pretty good. Sui's doing great as well, sitting at number 5. Arbitron just keeps hanging out here, guys. I keep telling you guys, Arbitron just keeps hanging out. Watch out for Arbitron. I'm getting into some of these. I want to get over here. This is where I was trying to get into. Everybody's saying bye to Elmo. Yo, he's leaving too early. Don't say bye to him. He's leaving too early. So look at Hex, guys. 21.7%. 21.7% up on the day. Tell me Hex and PulseX didn't take a ride last night, baby. They took a ride up 21%. This is all about Richard Heart, right? He's out. He's clear. He's posting again. He's tweeting again. The only thing we need him to do is start twerking again, and the PulseX will take off. Hex will take off. But Hex is not done yet. Everybody left Hex for dead. The Pulse chain for dead. It's not dead. It's just a matter of when they're going to really start getting some volume over there. But this thing definitely came up yesterday. 2061. 62. Moved dramatically to the upside. And so didn't PulseX. But look at Quant. Quant is the sleeper here, guys. Everybody's sleeping on Quant. It's up to $89. Was down as low as $64. But you see Quant holding on through all of this nonsense and all of this mayhem. It's been able. This is on a weekly, right? And think about where we've been on the week, right? Just think about how bad the week has been, up and down, up and down, up and down. And look at what Quant has been able to do. It's been able to hold on pretty damn stable, right? Getting to about as high as $90.50, right? It's been able to hold on better than a lot of other projects. And Quant is just one of these projects that are just steadily, steadily moving up, moving up, moving up, gaining ground, gaining ground. Why? Because it's going to be key in the ISO situation. It's going to be key in, making sure that all of these blockchains are connected. And big money knows that. So big money is putting money into Quant, and you can see that it's able to hold on, right? It's able to hold on, and that should tell you a lot, right? That should tell you a lot. Same when we get over here. We'll take a look at some of these ISO tokens, right? You get over here to HBAR, right? HBAR, the same thing. Look at the week, right? It's been down, but right now it's it got as high as like 19 cents, right? So it's holding on to 17.7 right now, right? Look at the week. Look at the weekly chart, right? It doesn't look great, but look at 19 cents to 17 cents. Not too bad. Only a 2 cent drop. Through all of this mayhem and all of this ridiculousness, it's been able to kind of hold for the most part. Not as good as Quant, but definitely has been able to kind of hold on to a little bit. You get over here to XLM, same situation, right? Same situation. You get over here to XLM. Its high for the week was 27 cents, call it 28 cents, sitting right now at 26.2. Not a bad drop. Not a bad drop for XLM, right? Not at all. And these ISO tokens, you can go down through them, right? You look at XRP. XRP probably took the biggest hit out of the ISO tokens, right? For the week, which, there's a lot of people in XRP. So you kind of got to expect that, right? You kind of got to expect it. It's going to take a little bit of a hit here and there. $2.25 was the high, $2.14 right now. So about 11-cent pullback, right? About 11-cent pullback. But XRP also has the biggest market cap and is moving the most volume as well. So, you would expect it to take a little bit bigger of a pullback than the rest. But, not too bad when it comes to where we work, right? The week itself. And you look at some of the other altcoins and they've pulled back on the week. They've pulled back. We'll go to the week here. Like they pulled back pretty significantly. You got Floki at 18%. I mean, you can just go down the line on the week. Some of these have pulled back pretty damn significantly, right? And the ISO tokens seem to be holding up just a little bit better than the rest. And it's because big money's in there and big money is buying. Big money's buying. And that's why the price is being kind of held up a little bit. And also suppressed at the same time, because big money is not going to just moon the price, right? They're going to buy strategically. You got Pepe getting back up to 85081. Definitely as the market starts to come back around, Pepe's starting to move as well, back up to eight, back up into the eights. So, Pepe took a dip with the rest of the other, with the rest of the markets down to like 5078, 5077 at one point, but definitely making a big, huge move back to the good side of things. Pepe's not going nowhere. Pepe's not going nowhere, y'all. I can tell you that straight up. It's not going nowhere. It's going to be here and it's going to make a run. But you got Bitcoin right now sitting at 97,000, trying its best to hold on to 97,000. But just look at where Bitcoin was at yesterday, right? We'll go look on the daily. You look at where Bitcoin was at during that big sell-off of that ETF. You were at $93,000. At that 93.5 range, right? Now we're back up to 97. So you're looking at a huge run up for Bitcoin just in a 24-hour period. Yeah, it's 1.9%. No, the day right here, 3.3% on the day, on the daily. But that's a big move for Bitcoin. Big move. In 24 hours. Ethereum as well. Like we'll give Ethereum its props, right? You come over here and you look at it, it's at $1,836. You come over here and look at it on the daily, it got down to $1,765. So that's a massive move for Ethereum to be back up to $1,836. So Ethereum, that's a lot of money that's being pumped into these projects to get these market caps back up there, right? Solana back up to 147. I think it's down as low as 143 yesterday. So it's like I said, and these are not small market caps, right? This isn't your small market cap project where you can come in and put $1,000, $2,000 in there, pump that chart up, you know, 15, 20%. These are big market cap projects. So the bigger the market cap, the more money it takes to move it. So just the fact that they're moving these things to the upside right now lets you know there's billions of dollars being pumped into this thing. Cardano got hit yesterday. They got hit, and they got hit pretty good. I actually bought this. One of the few projects I bought. I actually bought this dip on Cardano just because I think Cardano's going to absolutely smash it. I bought this dip here right around like 63 cents or somewhere up in there, 64, 63 cents. I can't remember exactly where I bought it, but I bought more. I added to my Cardano bags. I bought that dip because I think Cardano is going to be massive. Sui had a big pump up as well. Got down to like $3.20 something cents. Came back up to like $3.40 something cents. Again, massive money moving there. Chainlink got low $13 range, back up to $13.87. This thing's got to get back up to $14. It's got to stay there. Avalanche still under $20 after that pullback, sitting at $19.78. Still struggling to get back up to that $20 mark. But Avalanche, monster run in this bull is where Avalanche is going. HBAR still underneath 18 cents, like we just talked about. Some of these projects are still on sale from where they were on the initial 24-hour dip, and some of them are, you know, still down a little bit. We'll see what happens as the morning moves on. Definitely $3 trillion have come into the market. Polygon sitting at 22 cents. Not a bad deal for Polygon. Sitting at 22 cents. Not a bad deal at all for them. ASI, which is FET, you know, FET, 69 cents. Get back up to that 70 cent range, like where FET is, like where ASI, FET, whichever one you're buying into, same price. I like where they are right now. IMX is absolutely killing it over the week as well. A lot of the projects we talk about are absolutely smashing it. So, especially on the run up here after the pullback. We'll go over here. We'll look at that right now. PopCat. Told you guys to watch out for PopCat. 12.7% on the day. Quant 9.8% on the day. FET 7.6% on the day. Ondo 4.2% on the day. Flare 7.4% on the day. Look at Flare. Flare is just out here doing its own thing, man. It doesn't matter what the market is. It doesn't matter what it is, man. Flare is just out here doing his own thing. Yeah, Ken Pepe strong, baby. Flare's just doing what it does, right? It's you know, I that project, I love that project because it doesn't necessarily always run with the market, right? So SEI up 2.3%. Again, I think SEI is going to be that late runner. This SEI and Pyth, I think, will be late runners in the bull market when we actually get to the altcoin season. I think that they're going to perform best on the second half of that altcoin season. So, you know, definitely watching them. IMX up another 1.3% on the day, sitting at 53 cents. Definitely not bad. Not bad there. Definitely not bad. Fartcoin was being absolutely pumped and now is being absolutely dumped. You know, this thing was being pumped up pretty good over the last week and a half. Been absolutely dumped. But I do like where PopCat is right now when it comes to meme coins. If I had to pick two meme coins right now that I thought that were going to make a big impact on this bull run, it would definitely be Pepe and PopCat, I think. And SPX 6900. I think that them three, pick three. Them three right there are going to make massive moves in this bull cycle when we get to meme coin season, and we are a long ways away from meme coin season, y'all. But you got Algorand over here, another ISO token, making a nice move back up to call it 20 cents, making a nice move back up to 20 cents, right? So ISO tokens are holding in there. Ondo, the RWA play right here, 87 cents. You know, up and down for Ondo. Like where Ondo is right now, I'm a buyer of Ondo at 87 cents. Anything under $1, I think is a good price for Ondo. Render, the AI, one of the AI plays outside of FET. Definitely $4.22. I trade Render. I don't necessarily hold Render for the long term. I trade Render. Make more money trading Render on leverage than I do holding it. Oh. The Volt dude, who is that? Is that Pablo? Oh, Cato got a nice pump going. Is that blockchain that came out of nowhere? There was no, that was like Alpaca or something like that. There was a blockchain that launched. I think it was a blockchain or a project that just that launched the other day. It just came out of nowhere and ended up in like the 100. Is it this one, Selma? Is it this one? Is that it? Yeah, Pablo. He wants another token, Scottish. Another token. No, not that one. All right. Oh, another token. Like these guys that keep launching tokens. Like if you launch token after token after token, to me you're a scammer. I think you're if that's what you're doing, you're a scammer. You know, that's how one of the biggest red flags you can have and how you can really identify a scammer is just right there. Do you keep launching tokens, right? And if it's ranked at 160, all right, let's see. Maybe better for us just to go here. $169. 160. Where? Cato. It is on a nice little pump. $1.27. Market cap 307, 307 mil. It's a nice little pump. Nice pump, baby. Up 50.3% today. Got a nice pump on the week too. What's it doing in the hour? Got a nice pump going on in the hour too. That thing's pumping. They got a nice pump right now. That thing moving. That thing is definitely moving. There it is. Up 54.3%. Look at EHEX, 25%. Pulse, 15.4%. There's Popcat, 13%. Mung, 12.4%. A lot of these guys on the second page Dog this is the one that's on the Bitcoin. This is the meme coin that's on the Bitcoin network right here. I think this thing's gonna do something. I think Dog. If you want a lower market cap play, I think Dog, the one that's on the Bitcoin network, right? I think that this might do a little something. I've been kind of hanging out watching this thing, and just hanging out and just watching the price action on it and just seeing where it's going, seeing what it's doing. It got to 2096. This is the year chart right here. 2096, right? Sitting at 202 right now. So there's a lot of meat on that bone right there. But I've been just kind of hanging out. One of the few meme coins on the Bitcoin network that actually stuck. It actually stuck around. It actually stuck and has actually got volume. So I've been watching it. And remember, it's Dog, the one on the Bitcoin network, not on Solana or Ethereum or Base or anything like that. It's on the Bitcoin network. It's that Dog. There's a lot of gems between 101 and 200. There's a lot of gems. You can go gem hunting up in here. You can go gem hunting up to 200. You really can. Some of these ones that are on this page, between 101 and 200, they will be in the top 75. Pretty sure. Glenn, what's going on, brother? What's going on? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. But yeah, I think you can gem hunt. You can gem hunt. Definitely gem hunt over here on the second page. Definitely gem hunt over here. But yeah, Cato doing his thing, man. That's a good flex right there. That's a good run. That's a good flex. 54%. Definitely a good flex. Where are we at time wise? So okay, we're good. What was that? Total 3. We on the total 3. Yeah, 804 billion right now. Coming up. Altcoins are coming up, baby. Look at them. They want to put a green candle on the chart today, on the total 3, minus Bitcoin, minus Ethereum. Altcoins trying to do their thing, baby. They're definitely trying. I like it. This total 3, though, we got some resistance to bust through here, but I think with a good Fed day today, and a Fed that's ready to at least talk about cutting interest rates, man, you're gonna see this total 3 take off. You're gonna see this total 3 take off, man. It's gonna be something nice to watch. Went over a lot of these already. A lot of these. SP at 6,900. Where are we trading at? 50 cent. Man, just a long consolidation right here. Just a long consolidation. Kind of like Pepe. Just consolidating right here. You can see it's oversold right now. It's oversold, so it's getting ready to turn on the RSI. The RSI is getting ready to turn. And where are we at with where are we looking at on the RSI with BTC? You see the turn there with BTC? You see this blue line starting to level off right here, and this red line. They're going to cross in a minute, and you're going to see this turn start to go. 97,000, 97,006. Definitely in the oversold territory. Bitcoin so wants to make this move up to 100K. It so wants to make this move. Yeah, Turbo's been making some moves too. And I trade Turbo. I don't necessarily own Turbo on a spot market, but I definitely trade Turbo. I definitely trade Turbo on futures, up and down. Definitely do. Every once in a while, get over there, and if I see a good trade for Turbo, I'll take it. So, but I don't necessarily hold Turbo on spot. Turbo's up 6.7% today. 6.7% today. WIF is actually making a solid move. 57 cents right now, up 8.9%. You can make a lot of money trading WIF. It's trading in this range right now between 55 and 62 cents right now. You can make some pretty good money if you're on the charts and you're looking at that RSI and you're looking at that flip. You're looking at that flip. You know, it's not too bad. Not too bad. You can. Obviously, you can get wrecked on these meme coins as well. But look at MOG, 12.3%. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad at all. See, with Turbo being up 6%, I don't know. Turbo is one of the ones, like I think last time I traded Turbo was maybe last week. I think I actually shorted it. Can't remember, but you definitely can make some money on Turbo trading it. Turbo, is this it? Yeah, here we go. This got to be it. Yeah, it's making this move. Look at it. It's coming down. The RSI says it's being oversold right now. You wait for these two lines on the stochastic. I can never say that. RSI. You wait for these two lines to get closer and closer together, and when they cross up here up top, this is kind of where you put in your shorts, and when they cross down here on the bottom, this is kind of where you can start to think about putting in your longs. You can see every time they cross, the momentum starts to change, right? For not every single, I mean, obviously, it's just a tool that you can use. I'm not saying it's foolproof, but a lot of times when I enter and exit a trade, I'm using this right here to look at my entrance, right? So this is on the daily, right? So when I see them coming down to the oversold territory, down here to the oversold territory, what I start to do is I start to narrow this chart down. Once that cross is made, I'll narrow that chart down to like 5 minutes, and I'll look for the entry. I'll look for that entry, and when I find that entry, then I'll go in. But yeah, definitely Turbo looks like it's moving its way down a little bit, and when that momentum starts to shift, it definitely could be a spot to get in. Well, like I said, I trade it more than I own it. I don't really own it. But yeah, definitely a good meme coins are actually holding up pretty damn well, better than what I thought. So yeah, let's go ahead. Let's get over here and then we'll get out of here. Let's take one last look at this market and we'll get the hell up out of here. 97,000 on Bitcoin, 1,800 on Ethereum. Everything's looking good. Market's looking great, man. Market's really looking great on the day. It's looking great on the hour as well. Look at the hour. Hour's filling in nice and green as well. You guys know I don't trade on Fed Day until the meeting, but until the meeting is over. But or during the meeting, depending on how the meeting's going. But definitely market's looking really, really solid this morning. And then you have the stock market over here. And is our pre-market still in green? Pre-markets are looking really, really solid over here as well. In the United States, everything's looking like the morning itself is going to be a definite push to the upside. And everything's looking like the market wants to go, right? The only thing that's going to stop this market from going today, market looks better. The market looks better than last week. Oh yeah, Ken, without a doubt. Damn. Damn. I was here for. Oh, you were here for the whole damn thing, Junior. Were you off today, brother? But yeah, the market absolutely looks great today. The market looks like it wants to really take off. It looks like it really wants to move. It really wants to push to the upside. Bitcoin really wants to get to 100K. You can see the push. You can see the push up. You can see the big ETF inflows outside of yesterday. You got to take the anomalies out of there, right? outside of yesterday, you can see the big, huge push up in Bitcoin. You can see them guys, the big money's really trying to push that thing back up to 100K. And altcoin season is getting closer and closer and closer and closer. As you guys can see, it's up to 25 out of 100 right now. This market wants to go. This market wants to push up. The only person that's going to stop this market from pushing up today is Powell. Literally, he's going to dictate whether or not this afternoon we start to run even harder, or we start to come back down. He will be the decider of this afternoon's market. Unfortunately, these markets, can go with one guy, right? For months, we've been trading off of Trump and his tweets and his press conferences and things like that. That's how the market's been trading, not on fundamentals at all, just off of pure social media posts or interviews, right? And right now, today, we're going to trade off of Powell. We're going to trade off of what he says in his press conference and how that goes. I think that he's going to be very neutral, right? I think he's going to be very neutral in what he says today. There's so much uncertainty into the market. I think he's going to be very neutral, but I think you're going to start to hear a change in interest rate talks as well. I think we're going to start to hear that shift, and we're going to start to hear him start to talk about possible interest rate cuts. I'm going out on a limb, like I told you guys before. I think we're getting 4 this year. I think we'll get a rate cut in June. Not a lot of people think that. They think July. I think June. I think we'll get a stall in July. I think we'll get another interest rate cut. The next Fed meeting, and so on and so forth. I think we'll get four interest rate cuts this year. But I think that, you got to understand, I think we're going to hear a shift today. I think we're going to hear a shift. What would be the reason Powell lowers? What would be the reason he lowers the rate in June? I think the GDP will come in a little bit worse than what it did this month, because I think a lot of companies front loaded their products to beat the tariffs. I think that the unemployment numbers probably will get a little bit shakier. Going into the next Fed meeting, but I think that the stock market will be strong. I think the bond market will be strong. I think the stock market will be strong. And I think people will still spend, right? So when you have a strong stock market and people are still spending, but yet at the same time, your unemployment rate starting to tick up a little bit and GDP starting to tick down a little bit because of the front loading, I think that's going to be the driver for them to start to cut interest rates. I think you're going to see housing take a hit too. And, we touched on that a little bit. I think you're going to see the housing numbers start to take a bigger hit because of the interest rates. And what they don't want is a repeat of 2008, right? So you gotta do something to make sure that your housing market's thriving as well. So, and the only way you're going to do that is to lower interest rates so people can get loans, right? But so I think all of that, plus I think that there's going to be pressure from the White House to lower interest rates. And regardless of what people say, or regardless of what Powell says, that he doesn't worry about the pressure is still pressure, right? And ultimately, there's a bunch of Fed chairs that sit in that meeting and they talk about what they want to do and they come to a consensus about what they want to do, and then that's what they do. I think there's going to be pressure for them interest rate cuts to happen. And ultimately, the biggest reason I think there's going to be an interest rate cut, and they have to have an interest rate cut, is because the United States has to refinance a lot of debt. And they don't want to do it at these interest rates. They want to do it at lower interest rates because you're talking about refinancing trillions and trillions of dollars in debt. And the lower you can get that interest rate, the better refinance you're going to get on that debt. Because quite frankly, to be honest with you, the United States can't afford to pay its debt. 30 something approaching $40 trillion. They can't afford to pay it, so they have to refinance it. And that is going to be a driver of interest rates. They don't want to this is why Trump's putting a push on for interest rate cuts. They don't want to refinance his debt at the interest rates that are currently there. It would almost cripple them, right? So they have to get some lower interest rates to refinance what's going on. You just had a 10-year auction where the Treasury had to go in and buy a bunch of these 10-year bonds. Well, that's great. It makes the auction look very, very good. But at the end of the day, the Treasury is holding on to these bonds, which they don't want to hold on to these bonds because it's on their balance sheet, right? Bond market tanks, they're in the hole, right? So, and which means what? Which means they have to print more money to get out of the hole, which devalues the dollar, which increases inflation, so on and so on and so on and forth. I mean, that song and dance and story continues. So I think they have to lower interest rates, Big Watts. That's a long answer to a short question, but there's so much at play that you gotta look at it from so many different angles. So, but with that, guys, let's get ready for this afternoon. Let's see where this market goes this afternoon. Let's see if we can get a major push up this afternoon. And any signs of rate cuts in June at this press conference, you're going to see the cryptocurrency market absolutely go ape shit crazy. And that's kind of what I'm hoping happens today. And hope we can start pricing in for interest rate cuts for this year, because you'll see all of these markets go absolutely nuts if we can get that done. And we should be able to get that done. And it's the right time to get that thing done. So let's hope Powell is on the same page as us. And that's what we're looking at. So with that, guys, we're up out of here. See you guys on Friday. And we'll do this again. And we'll talk about what the interest rate cut was, how the meeting went, and what we can expect moving forward. So it's either going to be a really great stream, or it's going to be a stream where we're looking at each other going, oh, damn, that sucks. But either way, we'll be here. So, guys, we up out of here. Have a great hump day, and start making plans for Mother's Day. Take care of the mothers this weekend, guys. So we'll see you guys on Friday. We're up out of here. Bye.